Everybody, happy Tuesday to you. I hope you enjoyed your 3-day weekend. We teachers had to be here yesterday for a big in-service, and we are crossing our fingers that we see you this Thursday. So you only have today and tomorrow's on video lessons with me, and then we are praying that we come back on Thursday to see you live. I cannot wait. Okay, kiddos, it's math class, so let's start off with our thinkogram. Let me share my screen here with you. There we go. Our thinkogram. Give you a little clue. You read it going up. Good. Hiccup. 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 All right. Good job, kiddos. So today's lesson, I know you don't have your book on you. It's so irritating. So let me tell you what we are going to do. When you do come back on Thursday, we are going to give you all of your books to take home, to keep at home with your orange science book, to keep them safe. And we will just do one little book at a time. So I'll always tell you what book that you need to bring to school until we complete the chapter. Right now, when you come back on Thursday, we are in chapter 1. So you will have that always in your book bag, but you're going to take home all your other chapters just in case this happens again. I know it's not fun to print these off or to just copy down the work. I know that's not fun. So we want all of your books at home to stay home and to keep safe. Okay, kiddos, so today's lesson, we are going to talk about the place value. We know that as we go on, every place value jumps 10 times more than the other, right? So today we're going to talk about those powers of 10. How do those powers of 10 relate to exponential form of the number 10? So we're writing basically the number 10 with an exponent. And I think you're going to find this easy schmeezy. I sure do. Okay, so let me get my paper here and share my screen with you again. We're going to do page 25 together, and you can see it at where I had it at the beginning of the page before the video lesson, or right after the video, it shows up. And again, if you don't have access to print this out or just don't want to waste the ink, just copy this down onto your scrap paper or in your math notebook. We see here some of your math notebooks are here in your desk, which is fine. So you won't have that at home, but if you have it, you could use your math notebook. Just keep it organized and write page 25 up at the top of the page. Okay, darlings, so right now we are going to write in exponent form and word form what this stands for. So 10, where is my pen? Here we go. 10 times 10 times 10. Let me just explain what this really means. The exponent form, this is the base, like we talked about on Friday. The base number is 10. And how many times did I write the number 10? 3. So my little exponent is the number 3. So 10 to the third power means 10 times 10 times 10, which is a 1 with 3 zeros. So it's really the number 1,000, right? And word form, it could be 2 ways, but I like to say the base first, 10 to the third power. You could also say the third power of 10, and you will see that sometimes, but usually you're going to see the base word first, 10 to the third power. And if you can write that down with me, so you are getting it into your head, how to write it, how to say it, 10 to the third power means 3 tens. 10 to the third power, 10 times 10 times 10, which up here equals 1,000. It's a 1 with those 3 zeros, a 0 from here, a 0 from here, and a 0 from here. 10 to the third power, 1,000. All right, over to number 7. We have 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So my exponent form, that's the base number, 10. And how many 10s are there? That's the little exponent that we put up at the top, nice and small. 10 to the 5th power, and that's how I write it in word form as well. 10 to the 5th power, or I could say the 5th power of 10. But we prefer 10 to the 5th power. 10 to the 5th power. Now you might say, what number is that, Mrs. McGo? Well, we just copied it down to number 1 because 10 times any number, the first number has to be 1 because everything's our place value system when they're all 10s. And how many zeros do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back 3 place values, put your comma, and that's 100,000. Pretty simple, right, guys? All right, down to number 8, 10 to the 4th power. It says find the value. So basically, when it's just the power of 10 and no other number, you just copy down that number 1, and the exponent tells you how many zeros you're writing down. So we have to write 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go backwards 3 place values for your ones period, and my answer is 10,000. Now we're getting to some more difficult problems here, but it's not difficult at all. You're going to see it super duper easy. So first, let's take out the 2 times. Let's ignore that for now. And let's just write, what is 10 to the 3rd power? 10 to the 3rd power is a 1 with 3 zeros. So that's the number 1,000. So what's 2 times 1,000? Well, of course, it's 2,000. But let me show you a quicker way. We never really have to write the number 1,000 there, or the number that 10 to the 3rd power equals. All you're going to do is copy down this number 2, and that number 3 tells you how many zeros you're going to add to the number 2, because that is the number 1,000. 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. So we're just going to copy down that number 2, and the exponent tells us write that many zeros down. And it's that easy. Okay, 10 to the 4th power would be 10,000. Okay, but we don't even have to worry about that. 6 times 10,000, I think you could do that one in your head, but we just copy down the number 6, and we copy down those 4 zeros, because 6 times any number power of 10 just means you're adding that many zeros to the end. So we need to add 4 zeros and go back and put your little comma, 60,000. All right, down to number 11. If you would like to pause me to write these down into your notebook, that's fine. But if you just want to look up here at the screen and then copy the answer into your notebook, that's also fine. Just make sure that you title it number 11. All right. Now, this one's a tricky one, kiddos, because if I see 10 to the 0 power, that means there's going to be 0 zeros. So I'm going to write that up here. 10 to the 0 power means there's going to be 0 zeros attached to that number 1. So it's just the number 1 with 0 zeros. So 10 to the 0 power is just the number 1. So they have that here. 12 times 10 to the 0 power means 12 times 1. And what is 12 times 1? Of course, it's just 12. And down here, 12 to the 1st power means we're going to copy down that number 12 and add 1 0, because that's the number 10. So we're just going to say 12 times 10 to the 1st power. We copy down the number 12 and add 1 0 to it, because any number times 10, you just take that number and add 1 0 to it. Any number times 100, or 10 to the 2nd power, means you're going to take the number, the whole number there, and add 2 zeros to it, because it's the number 100. So we're going to copy down the number 12 and add 2 zeros. Anytime you multiply times 100, you just add 2 zeros at the end. It's no work whatsoever. Add those 2 zeros. 12 to the 3rd power means you take your 12 and add 3 zeros to it, because you're multiplying it times 1,000. So we're just taking these 3 zeros and adding it to the end. So 12 times 10 to the 3rd power means 12 times 1,000, which is 12,000. 12 times 10 to the 4th power means you're writing down your number 12. And how many zeros are you adding? Those 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back and put your comma. So that is 120,000, which makes sense. 12 times 10,000 would be 120,000. 4 zeros. That exponent 4, when it's attached to the end, just tells you how many zeros to add. Number 12. I know this is a little difficult. This is more algebra, where we really have to think about this for a minute. It's saying, what's the value of this letter N right here? Now, we know that N can be any number, but we have to figure out exactly what number it is. Okay, so 10 to the 3rd power equals 10 times 10 to the what power? Okay, let's think about this. It says think. 10 to the 3rd power really does equal 10 times 10 times 10. 3 tens, right? because that exponent 3 tells you, hey, multiply the base number 10 3 times together. Or it's saying here, let's take this 10 times these two 10s. So how many 10s are in this little block right here? We have 10 times 10 to the, there's two more left, second power. 10 times 10 to the second power. So the value of the n, what's that little n there? It is worth 2. If that confused you at all, don't worry. That's like 7th grade work, okay? But we're just getting you into the concept of what algebra means, what thinking abstractly means. What you really do here is think this is 10 to the first power. It's just 1 0. And if you just add these two exponents together, we get that number 3 there. Okay, don't worry about that if you didn't get it. It's a little beyond what we really need to know for 5th grade, but it's good to think. Okay, how would I write 50,000 using exponents? Come on, focus here. There we go, a little bit better. Okay, so we're just going to take that whole number 5. Let's just copy it down. Times, the rest are all zeros, so it's 10 to the what power? It's not just 5 times 10. I need to put a little exponent here, and we just count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 5 times 10 to the 4th power. It's that simple. Okay, and you know me, I'm not much about the explaining. Let's just talk about it and write it down how to do it. 5 times 10 to the 4th power. We just copy down the whole number 5. We count how many zeros there are, and that means it's 10 to the 4th power. Okay, for number 14, word problem, ready? 1 year, Mr. James travels 9 times 10 to the 3rd power miles for his job. Whoever talks like that besides math class, right? The next year, he traveled 1 times 10 to the 4th power miles. How many more, keyword for subtraction, how many more miles did he travel this second year than he did his first year? Okay, and we're not going to explain. So let's just find out what these numbers are. 9 times 10 to the 3rd power equals a 9 with how many zeros? 3. So that's just the number 9,000. So 1 year he traveled 9,000 miles for his job. But the following year, he traveled 1 times 10 to the 4th power. Okay, so that means we just copy down the number 1 and put how many zeros in front of it? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the number 10,000. So the question says, how many more miles does he travel this year than this year? So this is a subtraction problem. Line up those commas so your ones go together, your tens, your hundreds, and your thousands. And 10,000 minus 9,000, I think you could do that one in your head, right? And 10 minus 9 is 1. So he traveled 1,000 more miles. So we need that label miles that second year than he did his first year. All right, kiddos, I would like you to, you don't really have to flip your page, but I'm going to flip mine here. And did you learn the Great Lakes at all so far up by Michigan and Wisconsin and up in North Central America? Okay, these are our 5 Great Lakes. And you might have learned it before using the word homes, H-O-M-E-S. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, which is connected right to Pennsylvania where we live here, and Lake Superior, the largest Great Lake. Okay, so we have the 5 Great Lakes. So let's read it together. Let's read the problem, and then we'll solve some of the problems down underneath it. Lake Superior is the largest of the Great Lakes. Think of superior, it's super, it's the greatest. It covers a surface area of about 30,000 square miles. How can you show the estimated area of Lake Superior as a whole number multiplied by a power of 10? Let's just solve that without doing every little step at the bottom. How can I write 30,000 as A whole number multiplied by a power of 10. So let's look there. What number do you see there besides all the zeros? The whole number 3. So that's what we need to copy down. 3 times. Okay, now all the rest are all zeros. So it's going to be the powers of 10, because that's our place value system, 10 to the what power? How many zeros do you see here? 4. So it's 3 times 10 to the 4th power. And that is how we write Lake Superior's square miles as a power of 10. So it would be 3 times 10 to the 4th square miles. Pretty simple, right? All right, darlings, let's go down. I'm going to skip over all of those because we just solved the problem. And let's go to number 16. The Earth's diameter through the equator. So we know that the Earth is a big round ball. I know that looks like a circle. And the equator is the imaginary line cutting the Earth from the northern and southern hemispheres. Okay, the Earth's diameter through the equator is about 8,000 miles. What's that estimated diameter written as a whole number multiplied by the power of 10? So if it's 8,000, I'm just going to write 8,000 equals, okay, what whole number do I see here? 8 times 10 to the what power? How many zeros do you see there? 3. So it's 10 to the 3rd power. And that's our answer, a whole number multiplied by a power of 10. Okay, down here, Yolanda must have not been in Mago's math class, because she says that 10 to the 5th power is the same as 50, because 10 times 5 equals 50. Is that how we say 10 to the 5th power, 10 times 5? No way, Jose. What was Yolanda's mistake? Let's just tell her what it really is. 10 to the 5th power does not equal 50. That's the does not symbol. Okay, and let's write what it does equal. 10 to the 5th power equals, let's spread it out. 10 times 10 times 10. I keep hitting my Mimeo hover cam, guys. 10 times 10 times 10. How many times, kiddos? 5, good. Times 10 times 10. We take that base number 10 and multiply it times itself 5 times. So what number is that really? Well, anything times 10 times 10 times 10 is just a 1, and we count how many zeros there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the exponent tells us. So it's 5 zeros, so we have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it really equals 100,000. All right, darlings. So right now, you are going to complete the homework pages on your own, which are pages 27 and 28. And you can see that as my next item to do in your to-do list for math, okay? It's right under this video lesson. So you're going to do pages 27 and 28. You could just have them up on the screen as you copy them down into your notebook, okay, or on a piece of scratch paper. Down at the bottom for number 10, we're just going to, I want you to remember this when you see it. You're just going to say, what is 7 times 10 to the 3rd power? You're just going to answer it. We're not going to write a pattern to find it. Just throw that number out, what 7 times 10 to the 3rd power? It's a 7 plus 3 zeros, right? Which is 7,000. I just told you the answer. Okay, so you are going to do pages 27 and 28. And then tomorrow morning, I will have posted for you the answer key. So you better check your answers, make sure you got it right, look to make sure it's perfect. And if you have any questions, please email me or get onto one of my Zooms throughout the day at 10 o'clock, 12:30, and again at 2. Bye, darlings. Have a wonderful day and do your best. Bye-bye.